Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin Ethereum report for Monday, July the 12th. Just looking at Ethereum versus Bitcoin here. We just keep an eye on it because if Ethereum's going to be leading to the upside or the downside, then we'll need to know about that. So here so far we've got an A wave, a B wave and a C wave. I haven't pulled this apart just yet, but we're looking for a move up into the box here. We can look at a move back into this space. So we could look at that as wave 1 and 2, but I haven't confirmed that just yet. But what I would like to do now that it's been sold off from this point, because it will tell us if Ethereum's going to be leading to the upside, and if that's the case, then in Elliott terms we need to give it a bit more weight in terms of the count, so to speak. So that will come back to that 61.8%. Let's get rid of this thing. So let's just see if this plays out here with another move from this low here. Let's just see if that occurs first. If we do get a move up there and we get a move on the 65 here as support, then we'll know that that we're heading higher at that point. We'll be able to look at 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 up here as a bullish move. So that means that if this is correct, and this is a correction here, and this is Ethereum on the first layer here, so that means that it'll be a stronger move to the upside, and it'll have more range than Bitcoin, and it would be the one to trade to the upside, put it that way. So that's sort of good to know. And okay, we'll start with Ethereum. So if we look at this as the first thing is that I don't think this correction is over. I think that all of this leg down is, be it Bitcoin or be it Ethereum, is just the first leg here, and we'll need another leg to come up through here. It's not possible to count that up in 5 waves, but we can count it up as 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, or we can count it up as an A and a B and a C wave here to the A wave. So I think that Ethereum will lead to the upside, will be a bit stronger. Of course, this here is corrective, so it can, don't get me wrong, it can just come down from this point. But we are looking, it's had a big move down, and we know that it's got some kind of support. We know whales are coming in and accumulating and so on, and it's basically stalled here, hasn't it? I mean, it's a little bit like this move. We had this big sharp move down here, right, like this, yeah, and then it had that little jump and then back down again, so it had a jump and it back down again, so it had that jump and back down again, and then it's built that first little move up here and back again, and this is the first little move here and back again. But I still think we're in the bigger correction here. It could continue like that, but anyway, I'll be all over it if it does. So so we need to understand this a little bit more here, and then we'll understand, we'll go in and then we'll have a look at Bitcoin as well. So look, first of all, we could look at it as bullish. So from the low here, we can look at it as wave 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and then possible, and then the A wave down here. We talked about a B wave coming back, so it's not going to be a very flash looking thing. We can see that it's got we can see that this is an A and a B and a C in here. So we've got an A wave, a B wave and a C wave here. So there may be another little leg up there to 2-2 and then drop from that point. But that could give us from that low, I really want to go from this low because that's where the 5 waves are. So 5 waves up there, that's the 61.8%. So we could say that realistically, we could say that, well, if the 2000 becomes the major level 2000 becomes the resistance here, then we can look to short it. So we'll need the first low below the level. Now it may be a nice clean cut like this, and if that's the 2000, it may just drop through, come back and check it and drop, and you use that low and that low to get in, or it might be a bit more complicated and end up like this. It will drop through but come back above the level and then drop as well. So you just follow the lows all the time under the level and don't worry about what happens above it too much. So that's what we need to short it. That would be, it's all pretty sort of simple at that point for shorting it. Okay, so that's on the short side because it would be below the 61.8%. and you've got the trade set up on that side. So as I mentioned, this can be an A wave and a B wave and a C wave. We're going to look at that now on this chart, which we've looked at before. So an A wave, a B wave, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for an A and a B and a C for the A wave. And then the thing is here, this is the interesting thing compared to Bitcoin, because we know that this move down here is in 5 waves. If you've got a keen eye, it would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. And then we can see this is an ABC, so it's an A wave to here, B wave to here. And it may or may not be finished in here. I don't know, I haven't pulled it apart, but like I say, 2-2 would be sort of it there. And then it comes down to here. So we could get something like this here. It will bounce off the 2000, and if it goes through here, that's okay to go through, but it come back up and it's got to save itself and then move up. If it takes that low out here, then that creates the short at that point. Okay, so you need that first low below the level there. So if this is an ABC pattern here, this is 5 waves here, right? So that means that after correction, we should get another 5 here. So that's what will happen to Bitcoin. Because if this is the strongest one and it's going to go down, well, then Bitcoin's going to go down too, isn't it? So, yeah, it's that. So, but in this case, I just want to point out that if we, yeah, so it's still the A wave, a B wave, and a C wave moving up higher. So this is Bitcoin here. Let's just, don't worry about that for a second. Let's just look at this stuff from the outside and move in. So this is what I think the count is. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here for this, and I'm happy with that. And the bearish count for this, which we need to go over, which we have been going over as well, is so from 4 to 5 here. That wouldn't be 4 to 5. That would just be wave 1 here. We have an ABC back for wave 2 here, and then it works lower from this one. We've got all these lower highs coming into play here. So it could drop down through here, and we talked about that, and we were short and we were stopped out, but our stop was pretty much at break even, so it wasn't a big deal. But yeah, I think that we could be in moving up higher from here. I mean, I can understand folks being bearish, but I just got to, I've got to look at all the evidence and weigh it up, and this is what we're going to talk about now. So I'm not sure what chart to use. Okay, this is good. So this would be the short side. So from wave 4 up here, we look at all of this as wave 1, like we have been doing, and then an A and a B and a C for wave 2. That's cool. We counted 5 waves down here, so we could label it wave A or wave 1 and 2, because we got that in 3 waves going up. And this also here is wave 1 and an ABC for wave 2. And then we looked at wave 1 here, and we looked at also shorting in here as well. So I can't remember, we looked at short in here somewhere, and also bringing the stop down right on top of it as well. It has rallied here in line with, let's just bring this over here for a moment. Ethereum rallied, well, some sort of corrective pattern, but don't forget this has got 5 waves here. So after this correction, we should be seeing another 5 down. How far it takes us, and will it stop here and will it move up is another question, or do we come further down at that point? So in this case, we know that we're going to come down, right? But how far are we going to come down? This is a bit of an odd count, because it would have to be wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 here, and then 1 and 2. But I don't like this, because wave 2 in terms of time is much bigger than wave 1. I know that that's the case here as well, but it's kind of in perspective a little bit here. In this case, it's sort of a little bit stretched to the outside, so I don't really know if this is going to be the count. And it's also a little bit tricky too, because I can count this up in 5 waves actually. I could get 3 waves out of it. We're going to have a look at that in a minute. But the main point here is that from this low to this current high, the 33 would be the 61.8%. So if the market came down here, it would bounce off the 61.8%, and we always expect to bounce off the 3 anyway, or it's already had its bounce here actually, so it will be a softer bounce the second time around. So that 33 there is a 61.8% from that little low to that high. So there's going to be support there. If we take the low from here to here, then the 32 is going to be the 61.8%. Yeah, so that's the 32 is going to be the 61 point. And that's kind of interesting because you may have heard me talk about before with the trading levels. We've got a major level 3 here, and then we've got minor group 1, 2, and 3. So when we're talking about group 1 here, we've got the number 2 in the middle here, and I'll just call that the pivot. If that becomes the retested resistance, it's okay for it to spike down and continue upwards, but to get that classic trading levels pattern below that. So we get the bounce, market moves through it, normally goes down to 1.5, but in this case it went lower, but most of the time it's 1.5, so 31,500. But checking it back up here and then taking the low out here, wherever the low is, that's the bearish setup at that point. So we never really got that low taken out at that point, but that would have been the short trade there if I was trading it. But yeah, so important from that low to that high, the 61.8% comes in at 32. So for this to be more bearish to come down here, we want that 32 as the resistance here. We've always talked about the 35,000 becoming the support and being the setup for the long trade, but we haven't got a full pattern here. We've never got the full pattern here. So we've got the first high above the levels, but we haven't got that second, we haven't got this move beyond that. So that's the bearish count. I think it's okay. I know that will drop from this point based on Ethereum. But what's the other count here that I was looking at as well? So this is a little bit complicated, this one, but it's still within. I kind of like it actually. In this case here, because we know wave A can be in 3 waves or 5 waves. So in this case, we could look at it as an A, B, C for the A wave. We know this is 5 waves down here, so it can be an A wave here. We know this is in 3 waves, so that can be corrective A, and then an A, B, C here for the B wave and a C wave. So basically from this A wave here to the blue B wave over here, we're looking for 3 waves. So an A wave, a B wave over here, and then down for the C wave here. So that would be an A wave here, an ABC for the B wave, and then the C wave here. And I kind of like that because it counts in 5 waves here. So these levels here are important. That C wave here, that can still come back down to the 32 area here. That may or may not be finished in this point here. We can just check it. We can check it on the tick chart, but I can show you the pattern here. So off the low here, we've got wave 1 and 2 here, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave, 4th wave, and then the 5th wave here. The 5th wave is 1 and 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the 3rd wave, 4th wave, 5th wave. So that top could be in play here. But I don't know that little move here. That might be the 5th wave here might only be maybe it's not finished yet. I don't know. But either way, the other interesting thing here is that if we get any of these tops taken out here, this top, this top, this top here, then we're going to be bullish at that point. This count here, if it comes up here and takes the top out here, then that confirms that we'll be going higher. It will still come down with Ethereum, but it will confirm that we're going up at that point. If it drops and doesn't make a new high above this little B wave here and stays here and comes down, well, then I won't know until it plays out a bit later. But yeah, so this is pretty complicated and it's pretty messy, and it's in a weaker situation where Ethereum was nice and strong going up here. We can simply go an A wave, a B wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the C wave of A, and then the A, B, and C coming into here, and then moving off. So we'll see what happens. We'll either be short below the 2000, or we'll start building in our trades over on this side over here for this. So they're the two things, and I know that it's a little bit frustrating for us all, but that's just a part of trading. 2/3 of the time we can be in corrective moves, and sometimes those corrective moves can be really time consuming. I mean, we've been here for like a long time now, and we're still going to be here. But in a way, it's kind of like we're building as like an accumulation process across the bottom here as well, isn't it? So yeah, let's just see how this plays out. So the takeaway here is that this move up here, I can count 5 waves here, so it could be finished. If it's not, it'll go a little bit further, whatever. If it takes the B wave top out, well then fantastic. We'll know that we're still going to get a move down before we get a move up. We want the 35 to be the support over here. If it moves down through here, if it takes the top out here of this B wave, takes a top out for some reason, and then moves down here, then we'll try to pick it up down here with a bit more confidence. But if it doesn't take that top out and stays below, then we'll have to be a bit more self-assured of ourselves if we're going to go long from down this area, because it could be part of the more bearish pattern at that point. So we've got a bit to work through the beginning of the week, but hopefully there'll be we'll see a crack of light on Tuesday and a light at the end of the tunnel on Wednesday, and we'll be in one direction or the other come later in the week. But yeah, that's about the best I can do at this stage. So let's just see which way the cookie crumbles, and we'll pick it up when we know what we're doing, when we can see what's what. Well, yeah, I mean, anyway, that's my take on the markets at this point with it all. Very complicated, but yeah, like I mentioned, it looks like an accumulation process here, and it's just not finished. It's got a few more wiggles. We've just got to hold it by the tail, and let's see which way it dives out of all of this. I think it's to the upside, but yeah, we need evidence of that. We don't have it yet. We don't have any evidence whatsoever at this particular point. But yeah, okay, cheers. Thanks.